Okay, I'm delighted to be joined today by Paul Lally from the Festive Group. And like many other people across the country, Paul has found his business model, which is predominantly providing Christmas and festive decorations, a little bit skewered because of the crisis that we found ourselves in. And Paul, again, like many good entrepreneurs, has found a way of evolving his business, of tweaking his business model to an extent, but perhaps more importantly, doing so in a way that he's going to start to add some genuine value to the communities in which he operates. So, Paul, welcome. Great to see you. And, we're just chatting offline there. There's all sorts of stories about, the hospitality sector being decimated through what we've seen over the last few weeks. But of course, somebody in your position whose predominant focus is Christmas, we may think, or some people may think, well, not going to affect Paul until sort of October time, because that's when we start thinking about Christmas. Your planning, of course, comes far in advance of that, doesn't it?
Oh, we begin before Christmas for the following Christmas. We started tendering in January for the bids and the hospitality sector. They all sort of have a budget placed, so they work year on year with budgets. And we were right in the thick of organising that and having meetings and planning, because our product line obviously comes all the way from China, and we have to order, pre-May, pre-April. We have to put orders in for stock. So right now we're struggling to know what we're going to need for Christmas. We've had to sort of take a guess, because the supply chain is not going to stop. They're not going to wait, because come August, September, when we're all hopefully back in business, they're planning, they're making product for the following year, for spring, summer. Yeah. So Christmas is gone. Come the summer in the manufacturing in Asia and places like that. So we've got to take a gamble at the moment and plan ahead before businesses discuss it.
Yeah. So obviously you've had a situation there where, those tenders that you put in for and that work that would ordinarily be on your order book has sort of paused for now. And I suppose, tough decision for you was, well, what do I do? Do I just sit on my hands for a few months and wait things to get back to normal? Or do I look at potential alternatives? And I think you've come up with a great idea in terms of offering the opportunity of people to get some PPE from you. So tell us about that, Paul.
Yeah, well, but basically, we because we have a lot of product in our manufacturing places in Spain, etc. We've got the product to create all of the screens and a to create a protective environment. Hopefully, when we all go back to work, and to create it as quickly as possible in order for us to all get back to work and also stay safe in the meantime. There's different various types. There's screens in front of you, screens at the side of you, all the hanging ones. Then we can logo them up, and it's all about basically creating that safe environment. Because we don't know right now. Don't know what the rules are going to be. But I think screens, gloves, masks, it's all going to be part of the process. Yeah. And for one of our biggest issues is going to be the supply chains dwindling very, very. I mean, at the moment, the supermarkets and the chemists, etc., seem to have took all the supply that was available, and people are panicking now, thinking, is this going to be available? Are we going to, if plastic screens is a thing, where are we going to get them from? What's it going to be like? And touch wood, we've got the biggest supply chain in one of the biggest supply chains in Europe for it. So we should be able to cope, delivering, especially to people around the Northwest, and hopefully far and wider to help them get back to work.
And basically what you've done here is you've spoken to your suppliers in Europe, talked to them about the potential of providing equipment that is going to be, as you say, beneficial to many of your clients, I guess, particularly, as I say, on the high street and hospitality sector, but also in offices as well, because, from what we're hearing in terms of the advice that governments are going to give, if you want big numbers of your staff to return, you're going to have to protect them with, as you say, sort of plastic protective coverings, and that's the sort of thing that you're going to be able to offer.
Yeah, that's it. I say it's going to be, as like I've said all along, this lockdown, whether it's lifted or not, it's you've got to keep yourself safe. People can give you as much opportunity as you want to go out and wear masks, wear gloves, but it's yourself that you need to ensure that you're comfortable, and to go into work and not work from home. If you're in an office environment and you potentially work from home, great. But if you've got to go into an office environment, you still need that safety, that you're working in your own environment and nobody can, impinge on your safe distance, whatever that may be at the time. So these are opportunities to deliver that, really, and you to tell me what's your safe working environment. Do you want a screen between desks, in front of your desk? Whatever it needs to be, we can bespoke manufacture it to suit the working environment. And then you've got coffee shops, restaurants. Eventually, they're all going to come back online. And it's a weird situation, because you've got to cut it between what the government are saying is a requirement and what you're prepared to accept.
Sure.
Do you want somebody sitting 2 meters behind you, or would you rather have a screen in between you? And I suppose the safest environments are going to attract the most customers.
I think that's a good point. It's a good point.
And it's So it's how much effort how much effort you're going to put as a business is what's going to attract the most clients.
Yeah. As you know, Paul, this is a fast-moving situation.
And then we've got.
Sorry. Yeah, this is a fast-moving situation, and obviously, we haven't seen the guidelines yet. We're not quite sure what the government's ask is going to be. Equally, as you've rightly pointed out there, what people and employees are going to expect and customers are going to expect in terms of safety measures, maybe over and above what the government are suggesting. I suppose the question is, given the fact that, an announcement could be imminent in terms of when we are due to be allowed back into some sort of normality in the workplace, how quickly can these products be turned around by yourselves?
Well, that's the big plus of us working with such a big manufacturer in Spain. They're producing product right now. Obviously, whether it's a good or a bad thing, they're a couple of weeks ahead of us. So they've had to look at this in the grand scheme of things from their point of view. But the benefit to us is we're already pre-planning for Christmas. So we've got this product in abundance, ready to produce products for Christmas. So, the supply chain for us is quite effective, and the logistics behind what the company we use, they'll deliver direct to us. So we don't have to wait on, your supply chains to open up back between Europe. So they'll deliver direct. So we're looking probably 4 or 5 days delivery from a big product point of view. So it wouldn't be a case of you ordering and us ordering. Once we decide to push the button, we'll have product here within 5 days, 5 or 6 days, and then we'll have our own supply to deliver as and when required. So, depending on the guidelines and the demand, we should be sort of we could be in our stock supply within 10 days, really,
right. Okay.
To start delivering. And hopefully that then will develop into a bigger supply chain, and it'll just keep sort of topping up.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Now, listen, I'm sure it's been very interesting. It's a new challenge and it's a new product range that you're embracing. But nonetheless, you set the business up as a festive company that celebrates Christmas. And listen, I've seen the work that you guys do. I've seen the work that you delivered in Liverpool last year. It was absolutely tremendous. And I'm sure that, you'll be thinking the sooner I can get back to that, the better. But I think you've just outlined there, Paul, the risks that you and other businesses are having to take at the moment, because you can't, as you say, just flick a switch and the product turns up tomorrow. You've got to pre-plan months and months in advance in order for your manufacturers and suppliers to be able to get you the kit that you will need come December. So you must have already had to invest six-figure sums in preparing for Christmas in the hope that we will by then have got through this horrible thing.
That's been our biggest underlying sort of attack, really, because we've everything from Christmas trees to baubles to all the sort of the motifs and everything that you see, they're all manufactured pre-Easter, pre-summer, to deliver into the UK sort of August, September time. We've had to put orders in early as early as March to get our product, to ensure we get our product for September, October. Now, if we'd have sort of hung back and said, well, we don't know what's going to happen, we knew what would have happened then, because we wouldn't have had the stock. It'd have been cut and dried. But we've had to take a chance, still order what we were expecting to order. And hopefully the drive after this all happens creates at least the same level of business, that we were expecting. But we've got football clubs. So, it's between, we do Everton, Liverpool, we do Chelsea. We've got all these football stadiums that we decorate for Christmas. It's great thinking, everything else is going to go back to normal. But you've got football if there's still got these crowds, people are saying we're going to have empty stadiums all next season. There's a lot of business environments where you think, is it still going to be a viable sort of proposition to have Christmas decorations? And you'd hope that the city centres are going to do a little bit more, because the high streets are struggling and worrying, and people have decided to shop online now. You've got to get them back from shopping online to going back to the high street. I know it's bad enough as it is, or it was pre this virus. You think, what are they going to do to get it back? What was already sort of a very slow market in the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's an important point, isn't it? Cities are and town centres are going to be wanting to see footfall increase as much as possible, and the optimum time for that, of course, is Christmas. So fingers crossed they'll be coming with their orders thick and fast to you. Paul, final point from me on this, really, because as I say, listen, you're not the only business that's had to adapt and, as I say, evolve. And credit to you for coming up with a product that is genuinely, as I say, going to help businesses get back to work and get back to work in a safer environment. How have you just been managing on a day-to-day basis, given those financial pressures that clearly you're under? Have the government schemes that have been announced been of help to you guys?
I'd definitely say, yeah, I think the government have done as good as they can, really, from obviously the business rates. It's different because obviously some landlords are helpful, some landlords aren't, and they're in a business, so it's got to be a sort of a fair's fair with the likes of that. But you got, the fact that you're getting the rates holiday and the furlough scheme, we're using that. And yeah, I think they've done as much as they can. The banks, we've been in touch with our banks and they're helpful. We've checked that we're okay. As I say, we've got to spend money at the moment. That you're thinking, we're making the right decisions. But no, I think for me, the schemes that have been put in place have been quite substantial. Yeah. And they've definitely helped us. So to not stop worrying. But as I say, this 3-month break we've all had to endure. I definitely think it's the system they put in place have helped us get over them 3 months. And then just hopefully it all comes back to July, August. It starts, kicking in then, and we get back to some sort of normality.
Well, fingers crossed, Paul. And on that note, thanks very much for joining us today. Good luck with your new venture. But I'm sure I speak for all of us when I say I'm hoping that your Christmas business is booming, because we'll be back to normal by then.
Thank you, Frank.
Cheers, Paul. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.